Welcome into One-on-One on Suddenly Channel 112, live from Studio 318. Here, the day after Super Bowl 53, the Patriots claim their 6th title in 18 years on their 3rd trip in a row to the Super Bowl. Not a very exciting game.
Not at all.
What do you make of the Patriots' victory?
It was the best defense I've seen the Patriots play in the past, 10 years. They shut the Rams down completely. We talked about it a lot last week. They take away your best weapon. They take away what you love to do the most. Todd Gurley was non-existent in this game, and Jared Goff had quite a terrible day as well. I thought the Patriots did a great job. They came in with a great game plan, and they played their kind of football and won.
So go through the steps of the game. Tom Brady, they're driving a little bit, a few minutes in the game, and then he throws that interception.
Mm-hmm.
What is your mindset from there going forward?
I thought the Rams they played it perfectly. They wanted to defer to get the ball in the second half. I thought it was I don't know if it was a good move to let the Patriots go first, but they trusted their defense. They got a turnover, and I was like, they're going to capitalize on this and go up. And I thought whoever was going to score first was going to win. Technically, that was the case.
True.
But I thought they were going to go down and at least get a field goal. They got nothing out of that trip. And
well, as impressive and as high scoring as this Rams offense was,
yeah.
I mean, they're the second team ever to have the second high scoring offense in the league and score 30 points in a playoff game with the 06 Colts, who did it against the New England Patriots. But you look at this team, and the defense played so well. They were so impressive. But the Patriots only scored 13 points.
Right.
The Rams defense played incredible as well.
Right.
Because in the second quarter, the Patriots are driving and they would stall. They got a field goal, missed a field goal, but they would drive and stall. I mean, the first 7 punts or drives for the Rams ended in punts.
Right.
If you look and say the Patriots if I would have told you they only had 13 points in the game, you probably would have told me it was a 40-13 blowout.
Right. Yeah, I would not have expected the Rams to have scored less than 13. And you said it, the Rams played great on defense as well for most of the game, obviously only allowing 1 touchdown from like the 2-yard line on a Sony Michel run and then giving up 2 field goals. And I don't think I can't remember off the top of my head, but I don't think they were very short field goals. I believe they were close to 40 yards each. Am I right?
Yeah, they were long field goals.
So, I mean, you do your job if you're the Rams defense, and then they had a couple of chances to score on offense as well. There was one where Jared Goff overthrew Brandon Cooks in the end zone, and then there was another one where Brandon Cooks just didn't make the catch.
Yeah, and Jared Goff Jared Goff was not sharp last night.
No, and he said that after the game. He put the blame on himself, that he wasn't able to get the offense going. 19 for 38, 229 yards and a pick. That's really similar to Tom Brady's stats, but he just didn't look like he was there.
I'm trying to play highlights
I
here.
know.
The
ESPN,
3 that there were.
ESPN is just auto-playing videos. This is a 40-second clip, and most of it is the celebration at the end. Not a lot of highlights, like you said. Gronk had a couple of good plays. Sony Michel had a good run. That's it. That was all we got for highlights.
You had to wait until 7 minutes left in the fourth quarter to get the highlight. Now, it was a beautiful pass from Brady to Gronkowski in triple coverage right there down to the 2. Then, as you mentioned, Sony Michel ran it in right after that. But the stat that stands out to me and what Brian Flores and Bill Belichick were able to do to slow down this Rams offense is there's 4 sacks for 31 yards here for the Patriots. And obviously the Rams, they got some pressure on Brady, but only 1 sack for 9 yards. Jared Goff, although there's only 4 sacks recorded, he was getting lit up all night long. He was never comfortable. And even when he did time, you could see that he wasn't comfortable because he was forcing passes. He wasn't throwing good spirals. It was just all out of control. The moment was too big for Jared Goff.
Right, and we talked about that. I thought he did a good job in New Orleans. I thought he kind of started out like he played throughout this Super Bowl. But in New Orleans, I thought he kind of turned it around. And ultimately, they ended up winning that game, obviously. But he just couldn't do it. And it's going to be tough, I think, for them to get back. Because a lot of these guys are on 1-year deals. And it's going to come time pretty soon to pay Jared Goff. They've already paid Todd Gurley. They've paid Aaron Donald. They're going to find themselves without a lot of cap space here pretty soon. So I'm interested to see if Jared Goff can get back to this stage to prove if he is that kind of guy that you can win a Super Bowl with.
Right.
But last night he was definitely not one of those guys. And if you look at Tom Brady, I wouldn't say if you just looked at it, you didn't know who this was. There was no name. You saw 21 for 35, 262 yards, and a pick. That doesn't sound like a Super Bowl quarterback.
No, I mean, it was a
defensive battle.
Was this the most boring
Absolutely.
game? Was this the worst Super Bowl you've ever seen? Not counting that awful halftime show.
Yeah.
Is this the worst Super Bowl you've ever seen?
Yeah. I had to think to go back.
Lowest scoring in history.
Right, and that's not necessarily what made it terrible. Like, defense can be fun, but I think it was just no one even got close. The Rams had 0 snaps in the red zone.
Right.
So that's kind of what made it boring to me. Like, they couldn't even get down the field. They couldn't even move down the field. And when the Patriots were driving early in the game, they would always mess it up somehow with a penalty or a bad play call that results in a negative play or something like that. It didn't seem like either team could move the ball past the other's 40-yard line. So I think that's what kind of made it boring. The game seemed to just take place in like a 30-yard stretch.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of a boring game. It was a boring game, but it just felt to me watching it in the celebration and watching Tom Brady, it was
the same old, same old.
It was the same old, same old. Tom Brady gets it done. I didn't feel bad for the Rams. Quite honestly, I didn't think they deserved to be there.
Right.
But it was just not the game that the NFL. I think Roger Goodell and the NFL are, quite honestly, pretty ticked off that this was the result that they got from a 13-3 game, 16 total points from the Patriots and the high-flying Rams. Yeah. It was not a good game, but there's one thing, one stat line, one person in this game, and we talked about it last week. What's wrong with him? Todd Gurley, 10 carries, 35 yards. C.J. Anderson was 7 carries, 22 yards. Obviously, no one scored for the Rams, only 3 total points. But Todd Gurley goes over the century mark in that Dallas game. But he doesn't play much to end the season, which is understandable. They had their seeding locked up.
Yep.
But he didn't play. And then the NFC Championship game, he's a no-show. Is he a no-show? Is he hurt? Or did McVay just not play him?
I think he's hurt. I think he's hurt. That's the only way I can see it, because he was the best running back in football. What was he, 3rd in MVP this year? This guy, it's going to come out. I feel like he's either torn like his meniscus or an MCL or something, because he was not healthy. And outside of the first quarter, outside of the first drive even, he was a non-factor. Like, they didn't even try to go to him like they normally did during the regular season. And I think that kind of messed up their whole rhythm, because that's who they are. They kind of run when Todd Gurley's getting big runs and they're able to use play action. That's when they're the best. I think they said that on the broadcast last night. They're a run action or they're a play action run team, and they weren't able to do any of that last night. And I think that just kind of speaks to the greatness of the Patriots, that they were able to take that away. And Brandon Cooks, he had a pretty good game, eight catches for 120 yards. But they kind of limited what he could do as well. He could have had 2 big touchdowns, but he dropped one, obviously, and get Jared Goff overthrew the other one. So I will be interested to see what kind of comes out about Todd Gurley's situation. Because for me, he has to be hurt. There's no other explanation.
Well, something's wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, this is not right. On his worst day, he shouldn't have 35 yards on 10
in the Super
carries.
Bowl.
I mean, and then, like you said, the NFC Championship game, C.J. Anderson didn't really pan out in this game as well, like he didn't work for him. I don't know that they're bringing C.J. Anderson back.
Yeah.
But I think you made a great point, too. Obviously, we'll get into the Patriots later. We'll talk about the dynasty and how you sum it up. But the Patriots, we all know, I mean, the Patriots were overly sentimental about this game. Tom Brady, he actually said this, I just pray for one more. I just want one more, and I'll never ask for more. He had 5, but he just wanted one more, and he got it.
I bet he still wants one more.
Yeah, he wanted one more until he gets to this point, and now he wants one more. But, I mean, you looked at what the Patriots did. They canceled their walkthrough on Saturday. The Patriots always moved hotels on Saturday night. Every time they went to the Super Bowl, they didn't this time. They stayed in the same hotel. They let their families stay with them. They let media in the hotel the week of the Super Bowl. That had never been done before. everything changed this week for the Patriots. This was not typical Patriots, and for me, that tells me they know. They've always wanted it, but they wanted it more this time because it was sentimental. We just need one more. Because, I mean, I think Tom Brady, although he's going to play a few more years, I think he knows this is it for winning Super Bowls.
Yeah, I mean, this is their worst team to win a Super Bowl. I think
this is the worst Tom Brady to win a Super Bowl.
Yes. I mean, throughout the year, we never thought they were good at anything. We never thought they were the best in the league at anything they did.
I don't know that they ever have been besides that 2007 team. They're just efficient.
Yeah, for sure. And that's exactly what they were last night. And I agree. I think they know the window is closing. Tom Brady's, 41?
41.
Gronk, probably going to... he might change his mind, but he should probably still retire.
He played well the last 2 games, but...
He did, but...
he's never... You would think that guy... He's at least going to consider it. And I don't know that he's considered it before because last night asked about it. I'm going to take a week. I'm going to celebrate tonight.
Yeah.
But when he's making, hey, give me time, I'll think about it. Well, he's at least in a different headspace than he's been before.
Right.
And that should tell you something.
Right. And, I mean, Bill Belichick, oldest coach to ever win a Super Bowl.
Yeah, 66. Twice the age of his counterpart, Sean McVay.
So the window is definitely closing. So I think it'll be interesting to see if they can get back. But I think it's over.
I mean,
everyone says it's over every year. So.
I mean, they'll win division titles. They still may get to this point, but it's slowly crumbling because, quite honestly, and you don't want to harp on it, they shouldn't have won the AFC Championship game. I mean, it was an offsides penalty that got them there. The Rams probably shouldn't have been there, but they got there. They win the Super Bowl when they get there, but it just feels like the window's so slowly closing. They may win, get to a couple more, but it's not 10 years ago when you go how long this is going to last. It's not going to be another decade. On the flip side, the Los Angeles Rams, they've got what people thought was the smartest coach in the league in Sean McVay. He's very intelligent. He said he got out-coached, and he did, but that's what happens when you get a guy who's head coach of 9 Super Bowls and assistant on 30 more.
Right.
And Bill Belichick coaching a young guy like that, he did get out-coached. But you got Jared Goff and you got Gurley. You got them locked up, and Aaron Donald as well. But Ndamukong Suh really didn't play well, but he's probably going to move on. Marcus Peters, that defense, they're not going to be able to pay people for a long time.
And they shouldn't pay a lot of them. They weren't that good this year. Marcus Peters turned out to not a bust, but he was definitely not a good fit for them. He was not as good as everyone thought he was going to be. And Ndamukong Suh will probably move on. He, like you said, didn't play great last night. I thought he had a pretty good year with the Rams. Trying to think of who else is on that defense. Aqib Talib should consider retirement as well. He's getting up there, but I thought he played pretty well. Brandon Cooks is on. He's going to be a free agent, right? It's going to be interesting to see who they decide to pay, if any of these guys. Because if I'm the Rams, I don't know if I want to run this group back, especially on the defensive side. On the offense, I mean, yeah, maybe you pay Brandon Cooks. You've already got Donald locked up. That would be the only guy I would for sure want to lock up. So we'll have to see. I think they need to go for more of a system base because they just went for guys. They went for stars.
Yeah, and that doesn't work for long. It'll work. It may work next year. They may be able to pull it off. I think they still have a legitimate shot to win the Super Bowl. But going forward, you're looking across the league, and I think the Chiefs are in a better position. They're in a better position than the Saints because Drew Brees is getting up there. But they're still an elite team, and I think if they handle it the right way, they could probably get back there. But I don't think this is going to be a 2-decade thing like you've seen in New England.
No.
I just don't think it's going to get there. So the Patriots do claim number 6 and 16. Tom Brady's now been in more Super Bowls alone than any other franchise.
There you go.
6-time Super Bowl champion. Largest margin of victory for the Patriots in Super Bowl. And they won 13-3.
Yeah. I forgot most of them had been decided. All of them had been decided by one possession up until this one.
So a boring Super Bowl 53, but we're going to continue to break the big game down after this. Julian Edelman, Super Bowl 53 MVP. We'll talk about that next.
One-on-One is brought to you by Tinker Federal Credit Union. Visit facebook.com/TinkerFCU. While you're there for your family, we're there for you. Tinker Federal Credit Union. And OSU Communications. Not sure where to park? OSU Communications has got you covered with parking tips and bus schedule information. We'll be right back.
Determining your future by selecting a major can be difficult.
It's okay to be undecided.
Connect with the College of Arts and Sciences, where your options are endless.
Where you can uncover your passions and achieve your goals.
Express your creativity by exploring a career in the visual and performing arts.
Investigate new discoveries to make the world a better place with a career in science.
Advance knowledge, communicate progress, and contribute to a healthier planet with a career rooted in the social sciences.
Discover your career by looking at the world from different perspectives through the humanities.
Realize a better tomorrow through problem solving and mining data that can change lives.
Cast Prepares you to succeed through internships, study abroad, student-guided research projects, and service activities.
With 109 majors, 52 minors, and 24 departments, the only thing missing is you. College of Arts and Sciences.
Connect.
Achieve. Succeed.
When you have a team of physicians and nurses that really truly care about their patients, that translates into patient care.
It's a small practice, it's a small town. Everybody really takes that time to put the patient first.
Everybody cares what's happening to me and that I'm making progress and I'm gaining my freedom back and my mobility back. This patient is saying thank you.
This spring, I invite you to shop in downtown Stillwater. Downtown Stillwater is home to locally owned shops, boutiques, eateries, and dependable professionals that you can trust. Find the perfect gift for your graduate, have a delicious meal with mom, or just stop in to enjoy great spring savings. By creating a demand for local goods and services, you can ensure a place for the local businesses that help give our community character and keep it unique. On behalf of downtown Stillwater, thank you for shopping local.
Welcome back into One-on-One live from Studio 318. You see the commissioner, Roger Goodell, handing Super Bowl 53 MVP Julian Edelman the trophy. Julian Edelman, 10 receptions, 141 yards, and no touchdowns in a fairly boring game. Only one touchdown, which was Sonny Michel. I guess I can ask if you agree with it, but how can you not? I mean, the next best person would be Sonny Michel, 18 carries, 94 yards, and a touchdown.
I'll throw one better at you. Where's he? Ryan Allen. What about Ryan Allen for MVP? Patriots punter.
The only special teams guy to ever do it was Desmond Howard, and he had like 260 yards of return yards. But it was the punters were
the two best guys out there. It seemed.
Yeah, they
never gave up good field position. Either one of them really. I would have been fine with the Rams punter winning it if the Rams had won. But Julian Edelman. He kind of had the most impact just from what it looked like. He, like you said, 141 yards, led both teams in yards and total receptions.
You're talking about punters.
Is he a Hall of Famer?
Okay, yeah, let's get into
that was a thing last night. So I want to talk
really
about
quickly.
that.
Johnny Hecker had for the Rams 9 punts, 417 yards, averaged 46, 5 inside the 20.
I mean, I would give it to him anyway,
including a 65-yarder.
That was a record.
Yeah,
a Super Bowl
You'd
record.
be the first punter and the first loser to ever win it.
Give it to him. I don't care. That Super Bowl deserved a loser and a punter to win the MVP.
So Julian Edelman gets an MVP of the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Seriously, 10 receptions, 141 yards. He's second now in receiving yards in the playoffs behind Jerry Rice. He's got a ways to go to get there. But I'm going to talk about his regular season first. Okay. He's never made a Pro Bowl.
Right.
Ever. He's 148th in receptions. He's 248th in receiving yards. In his postseason, 115 receptions, 1,412 yards, and 5 touchdowns in the postseason. Okay, he's a Hall of Famer.
Is he?
He's a Hall of Famer.
Okay.
Because, and if there's groans upstairs or wherever, he's not. Kurt Warner's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
His stats are comparative to Ryan Fitzpatrick in the regular season. But what Kurt Warner did in the postseason is he lit it up.
Yep.
And he was incredible. He has the highest QBR in the postseason. That's why Kurt Warner's in the Hall of Fame. Not for what he did in the regular season, but for what he was able to do in the postseason. That should get Julian Edelman a nod.
Okay. And I was along the same lines. I was like, man, he has a great postseason career, but like you said, nothing in the regular season. He is just a slot receiver that has played for the Patriots for a long time. But multiple-time champion, now a Super Bowl MVP. I kind of agree with you. I think he is a Hall of Famer. Definitely not like a first ballot Hall of Famer.
No, he's not a first ballot Hall of Famer, and he's not done yet, which is also so the regular season is not great.
But I feel like if Tom Brady's done, he's done. You know what I mean?
His success will be, yeah. And you could attribute a lot of this is to Tom Brady as well. But I mean, he shows up in the postseason.
Yeah.
He shows up, and he's been his right-hand man since Wes Welker left.
Right.
And Gronk's been down and out at times. So Julian Edelman's been there. You look at his performance in that comeback over the 25-3 or 28-3, 25-point comeback over the Falcons, and that catch in the Super Bowl. That's one of the greatest moments in Super Bowl history.
Right.
So yeah, Julian Edelman, like you said, he's not a first ballot. He'll probably sit there for a few years.
Yeah.
But I think that they can probably put him in Canton at the end of the day. The old quarterback from Kent State.
Yeah.
But yeah, just not a great game.
No.
Not a great Super Bowl.
No. Honestly, the best storyline of the Super Bowl, I don't know if you really want to get into this, but it was Barstool Sports, what was going on with them during the Super Bowl. That was the most entertaining part to me, and I'm not even a Barstool fan.
Barstool has what they do is interesting. I mean, yeah, but at Big 12 not Big 12 Media Days, or Super Bowl Media Days, they were the headline. They owned Twitter. Real journalists, and Barstool's not real journalists, so let's not get on that. But what they do is they get content. They're very successful. But what they were able to do in taking over Super Bowl Media Days, and their president, Dave Portnoy, gets arrested last night, they're owning Twitter. They're owning the night on a boring Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And when the Patriots add to their legacy, add to their dynasty, Barstool is still rooted in the story of the Super Bowl.
Right, and Barstool PFT is hiding. He's like on Twitter posting videos about how he's hiding from security. He's like talking about it's the greatest scavenger hunt of all time is PFT running around hiding in the Super Bowl. The NFL has to be really upset with the product they put out there. That was bad. That was a bad game. And then you let guys that are banned from all NFL events dominate an NFL event.
They are good at what they do. They are good at what they do. Patriots are also good at what they do. 6 titles in 18 years, 9 Super Bowls, and they went to a couple before Brady as well. Is this the greatest dynasty ever? Not in which it is in football.
In football for sure.
Across all sports.
The only one I would say could be better, and it depends on how you look at it, is Bill Russell's Celtics. 8 straight titles, or
11 in 12 years.
I think it was 8 straight. That's pretty impressive, and I know it was in the 60s and 70s, but he played against guys like Wilt Chamberlain and Jerry West, and he dominated his era, and that's all you can say. That's all you have to look at for a dynasty is how they dominated their era. The Patriots is interesting. I almost look at them as 2 different dynasties. I look at them in the early 2000s, and then, after that 2007 year, or I guess it was 2005 when they won their Super Bowl, and then they went on that dry spell for 10 years.
They went to a couple Super Bowls during that, but didn't win
but they didn't win any. And then you look at the Seattle Super Bowl, and that's kind of like, I think of like the Renaissance where Tom Brady just went on this dominating streak. So I kind of look at it as 2 dynasties in one just because it stretched so far. But it's definitely 1 or 2. I would say it's 2 just because of how many championships those Celtics won in a row. But it's definitely up there, and it could be number 1.
Do you consider the Bulls 2 because Jordan retired?
No, like that. The 2 3-peats is impressive, but
I think
you can't discount those 2 years.
I'm going to throw out Bill Russell Celtics and in the early Lakers because the league was so different.
Yeah.
I compare what the Patriots have been able to do to the Spurs because the Spurs have never been bad.
Right.
The Patriots have never been bad.
Right.
And although I think the Patriots obviously are far more successful than the Spurs, and I think to do it in the NFL is much harder than it is to do in the NBA because, I mean, Tom Brady and Bill Belichick are the only 2 people that have been on this 18-year run.
Right.
I mean, the Spurs have had, now it's not the same, but Pop and Duncan
and Parker
and Ginobili, those guys were all there.
Right.
And you had Bowen there in the early years.
Yeah.
But, I mean, the Patriots, these 2 guys have been able to do it, and Robert Kraft, I guess, the owner. They've been doing this for 18 years, and it's just simply remarkable. What 16-30 for the Celtics, and then you said those 11-13, 8 straight.
Yeah.
Is incredible. But can you imagine what that team would do in today's NBA?
Yeah.
They wouldn't be able to match up, and maybe that's not a fair argument. You shouldn't take away from their legacy. But you have the Jordan's Bulls.
Yes.
You have the Celtics. You have the Lakers in the 80s and 2000s, and the Spurs as well. And you have Alabama. But the greatest franchise domination of all time is still the New York Yankees.
Right.
But the Yankees haven't been able to do it in a while. But that 90s, all these teams, besides the Spurs, have 10 years here,
yes.
10 years there. They've been doing it for 18 straight years. They have not been bad. 17 division titles. They've now been to 8 straight AFC Championship games, 9 Super Bowls, and they've won 6 of them.
Yeah.
And their quarterback's 41 years old.
No, it's definitely impressive, and I would say it's better than the Spurs. It's way better than the Spurs dynasty because the Spurs never went back to back, and the Patriots have only done it once.
Right.
But that's still something that's hard to do, especially in the NFL. It's hard to go back to back. So I agree. It's definitely more impressive that they did it in football than in probably any other sport. Baseball is probably the second hardest to do something like this in, don't you think?
Well, I think it's so much different in baseball and basketball because you can't have a bad game in the NFL and be like, we'll get them tomorrow.
Right.
No, you have a bad game, you're done.
You're done.
And in baseball, you can have 3 bad games in a series.
Yeah. And win.
3 bad games of basketball and still win.
Yeah.
You don't have that luxury in football. Every snap counts. Don't sell me every pitch matters in baseball, every possession matters in basketball, because it doesn't.
Yeah.
You have more opportunity to succeed in those sports than you do in football. That's why I think they've solidified themselves as the greatest dynasty in all of sports.
Do the scandals hurt it? Do Spygate, Deflategate, does that hurt this legacy at all?
No.
Okay.
Because I'll tell you how I look at it. One day, I'm going to be telling my kid about this run that they went on because they won't be doing it. Please don't be doing it.
You don't think it's going to last for 20 more years, Reed?
I will quit being a sports fan if this lasts 4 decades. If they find the next Tom Brady, I quit.
If this lasts 4 decades, it's definitely the best.
I quit.
Yeah.
But Brian Hoyer's not taking over and taking this baby for 20 more years, and Bill Belichick would be 86 at that point. But when you're telling generations down the line about this, you can say, "Oh yeah, Spygate." How much does Spygate really help them? Andrew Luck was throwing the same deflated footballs that Tom Brady was, and they didn't score any points in the first half. They reinflated the footballs, and then the Patriots killed the Colts in the second half.
Yeah, and they've won a lot of Super Bowls since that, so I don't think it was the footballs.
I mean, I can't. Every team does that stuff. If you think that your organization is not trying to get a competitive edge, you're delusional, and they should be.
Right.
You should be. Oh, by the way, in the dynasties, I forgot to mention hockey dynasties. I mean, look what the Red Wings were able to do, and the Canadiens. That was mostly for Barrett. I don't consider those real dynasties. But what the Patriots have been able to do, certainly, you just have to respect it.
Yeah.
You have to respect it. Really quickly, is this their last Super Bowl?
I can't say no. People have thought they've been done for 5 or 6 years.
I think this is their last Super Bowl. And I've never said that before, but I'm comfortable saying this is the last one. I think Gronk will retire next week. I think Brady, although this was an incredible postseason run they went on, the reason they were so sentimental about it and the reason they did things differently and acted the way they did is I think they know that this is it. They're still going to win the AFC East for probably 3 or 4. They'll win that division as long because, the Jets, not going to happen. Buffalo,
no,
not going to happen. And the Dolphins, although, they can't beat the Patriots in Foxborough but can beat them at home, the Dolphins aren't going to do anything, even with Brian Flores as their coach. Mm-hmm. But we agree, so you're on board, greatest dynasty in sports? Or
yeah.
Okay, we can agree on that. Julian Edelman, one day will be a Hall of Famer. But there was a bunch of awards handed out Saturday night, NFL MVP, Offensive Player of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year. We'll break down those awards next and the 2019 Hall of Fame class.
One-on-One is brought to you by Oklahoma Christian University. Get your master's degree in accounting, business administration, theology, engineering, computer science, or cybersecurity from Oklahoma Christian University. Apply at oc.edu/grad. Oklahoma University is committed to offering the best graduate school experience we possibly can. Come learn and grow with us. And The Table. Stop by The Table on Thursdays at 8 p.m. to join their Bible study. Shoot Rachel an email at rachel@thetableosu.com for more information. We'll be right back.
In my mind, I was never going to walk right again. Before we were through, we had walked 23 steps. And that was my first steps of freedom. This patient is saying thank you.
When you look at this award, you see the rich history that it has. You see guys like Elway and Favre, Manning and Brady, and many more. And I'm so humbled that I can be sharing this prestigious honor with them.
That's my quarterback.
Yep.
I'm so excited. Patrick Mahomes, we'll just jump into the 2018 NFL Honor Awards were held Saturday night. Patrick Mahomes brought home the MVP. People were debating Drew Brees or Mahomes. It was clearly Mahomes.
Yeah.
And his speech was phenomenal. It was about the team. You've got to be excited if you're a Chiefs fan.
Absolutely. I mean, they're kind of the opposite of the Rams. They have it all kind of locked up, except for defense. They have nobody on defense. They have to worry about that. But I mean, they have a great coach locked up for a long time. They have a great quarterback locked up for a long time. Like, their future looks much brighter than the Rams does, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah. By the way, it turns out Tony Romo is not a genius. It's just Bob Sutton was that bad at his job.
Yeah.
But Patrick Mahomes gets the MVP. Saquon Barkley takes home Offensive Rookie of the Year and
Pepsi Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, Pepsi Rookie.
Got to remember that Pepsi Rookie of the Year.
Yeah. I mean, he was very impressive. He was overall Rookie of the Year as well. Darius Leonard takes home Defensive Rookie of the Year for the Colts. Andrew Luck, Comeback Player of the Year. Matt Nagy gets, I was going to say Matt Nagy nags the nabs, but that bad pun. But Matt Nagy gets the Coach of the Year. Walter Payton Man of the Year. Chris Long. That is the supreme award that people look for.
Right.
And Aaron Donald got Defensive Player of the Year as well. Any of these awards you disagree with?
None of those that we listed just up there. The one I disagree with was the Built Ford Tough Offensive Line of the Year. That went to the Los Angeles Rams offensive line.
That backfired because they got dominated last night.
Yeah, and I thought the Colts offensive line was much better throughout the year. I thought that was the best offensive line of the whole year. Trying to think. I can't really disagree with any of these other ones.
There was some
maybe
talk at Offensive Rookie of the Year that maybe Baker.
Yeah, and I thought Philip Lindsay should have been a little bit more in that conversation. I'm not saying he should have won.
I think his injuries at the end probably hindered him a little bit.
You're probably right, but I mean, I think they got most of these right. Darius Leonard led the whole league in tackles. Can't disagree there. Aaron Donald had a monster year. I thought Patrick Mahomes, 50 touchdowns, 5,000 yards. I feel like that's an MVP. Yeah, I mean, what about you? Did you agree with all of these?
Yeah, I agree with him. Certainly, obviously, agreed with Mahomes as MVP. Saquon, he had a really good year, and I think Baker had a really good year too. But Baker didn't start those first couple games.
Yeah, I think that's what hurt him, and he kind of got off to a slow start. They really started playing well after like his second or third start. But those first two, it was kind of shaky.
The Game Changer Award was Shaquem Griffin. Obviously, we know his story. Has one hand now and is playing in the National Football League alongside his brother in Seattle. So that was a really neat award. I thought they did, a really good job at the award show. I thought the award show was done really well. But Chris Long's story, certainly to win Walter Payton Man of the Year.
Yeah.
I don't know if you watched the awards, but I mean his story of bringing water. I believe now 50 some wells that he's brought into Africa to bring clean drinking water to those people. I mean, what he does, continues to do, donated his entire salary last year to education in Philadelphia. I don't think he's really ever taken more than half of his salary. So that was a really fun story from the awards night, and Chris Long certainly deserves the Walter Payton Man of the Year award.
Absolutely. I disagree with the Don Shula NFL High School Coach of the Year award. That was to Gabe Infante for St. Joseph's Prep. I thought John Higbee should have won that, the coach down at Clinton. I mean, they had a great year. I can't believe he didn't win that. Why do they give that award out? That's so stupid. Who cares about the high school coach of the year?
I think it's for kind of what they do as a whole in the community, and I think it's more than the X's and O's. But they didn't even show that on TV. Most of these awards they didn't even show on TV.
I'm reading some of these and I'm like, why do you have some of these?
Well, the Courtyard Unstoppable Performance of the Year was Jared Goff. The Chiefs game? I could have had that performance on that defense. Okay, here's one I disagree with. The moment of the year when Aaron Rodgers returned.
Okay.
What?
What would you have picked? The Miami Miracle?
Moment of the year, which that got best play.
Yeah.
That, 17 of Mahomes across the field passes.
Okay.
Anything besides that. Who cares? His moment passed a decade ago. Let's move on from this Aaron Rodgers comeback against the Bears. Who cares? It was week 1 from a team that didn't even end up making the playoffs.
You're talking about the Packers, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Over the Miami Miracle?
The Dolphins didn't make the playoffs either, though, to be fair. I mean...
No, but a second-half comeback or a hook and ladder against the now Super Bowl champions.
I mean, I agree. The Miami Miracle should have been up there, but at the time, that Aaron Rodgers comeback was super impressive because he was obviously hurt. His interview after the game, he was obviously on some kind of medication, if you remember that.
Well, he obviously quit taking it because the rest of the year was
not as good.
Not so good at all.
Yeah, but I mean, I can't disagree with that. The only one I could say you could put over it would be the Miami Miracle.
The moment of the year should have been when the refs botched a call to send the Rams to the Super Bowl.
I don't think the NFL would have liked that.
Wonder who votes on that.
Yeah.
So some fun awards, as we mentioned: Saquon, Offensive Rookie of the Year; Patrick Mahomes, Offensive Player of the Year and MVP; and Aaron Donald, Nags, Defensive Player of the Year. They also announced the 2019 inductees into the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Right.
Run down the list: cornerback Champ Bailey, the former Redskin and Bronco; Tony Gonzalez, the
Atlanta Falcon.
The Atlanta Falcon. I'm going to leave it at that. Cornerback Ty Law, who played for
the Patriots
and the Jets and the Chiefs; Kevin Mawai, the center; Ed Reed, the hard-hitting safety;
yes.
Johnny Robinson from the Chiefs Super Bowl team, Super Bowl IV, the
finally.
6th Hall of Famer on that defense to be inducted. He finally gets in. Gil Brandt and Pat Bowlen, the Broncos owner, are inducted into this class. There was not a ton of controversy with this class, people getting in and out. There was obviously John Lynch didn't make it in. He will one day. But Champ Bailey, Tony Gonzalez, Ty Law, and Ed Reed, those are guys that can jump out at our generation.
Yeah, absolutely.
Greatest player on that list of the players.
Ooh. Oh, that's tough. Because Tony Gonzalez is one of the best tight ends of all time. Whether he's a Chief or a Falcon.
Falcon seems to be what he wants to be, so let him be a Falcon.
Okay. I think it's either him or Ed Reed.
I would say Ed Reed because Ed Reed obviously played on the best defenses.
Yes.
One of the best defenses of all time.
Absolutely.
In that 2000s Ravens team. But what he was able, a 2-star recruit from Miami,
yeah.
what he was able to do on special teams, the interceptions that he had, the way he played the game, I'll have to say Ed Reed.
Yeah.
And he's a Super Bowl champion. Ty Law was really good, obviously a Super Bowl champion as well. But Ed Reed, the highlights, I can recall multiple highlights just off the top of my head. And he was just an incredible safety. Obviously, Johnny Robinson, he helped redefine that position back in the 60s as well, and finally he goes in. Gil Brandt was a phenomenal executive for Dallas, and Pat Bowlen did a phenomenal job. Unfortunately, he was not able to be there. But, you look at what he was able to do with that Broncos franchise. They went on an incredible run,
right.
And Pat Bowlen had a ton to do with that. He was phenomenal in the Denver community. Kevin Nawai was a phenomenal center. They're all going into the Hall for a reason. But let's talk about Tony Gonzalez.
I'm going to let you take this one over. This is all you, Reed.
He kind of retracted Sunday, and he said it was because he was in Atlanta for the Super Bowl. Who cares where you're at? No offense to the Chiefs fan, he's dunking over the goalpost of the Falcons and Arrowhead. I had a sentimental tweet typed out that I was ready because I remember when my dad used to take me to the Chiefs games, Trent Green, Priest Holmes, but Tony Gonzalez was the guy I wanted to see. And I couldn't wait to see him score and dunk over the crossbar. And I remember a Sunday night game that I wasn't even supposed to go to. I went to last minute with my dad. Tony Gonzalez caught a touchdown across the middle and dunked over the crossbar, and it was the coolest thing I've ever seen. Tony Gonzalez has totally disrespected the fans that loved him for 12 seasons. By the way, Tony, we're not the ones that lost those three playoff games. You are. You are the one that lost those playoff games. The players, the organization. You asked to be traded, and you got traded. And you went to a winning culture. The Falcons are the lovable losers of football. No one respects them as a winning franchise. And the Chiefs have had their troubles as well. But they're deep-rooted in football history. The term Super Bowl comes from your founder, Lamar Hunt. Don't tell me that you loved playing in Atlanta. You went 1-3 in the playoffs. Not like he was winning Super Bowls down there. And you played in Monday night, Sunday night games, all this. You played in 22 primetime games in 12 seasons with the Chiefs. Stop. He had the greatest offensive line of all time with that 2003 Chiefs team. Priest Holmes, I have no idea why he's trying to disrespect. If he's mad at Carl Peterson, a guy the Chiefs fired over a decade ago, I don't get it. But to try and take shots at the Chiefs fan base, not a part of that. And he's been back one time to Arrowhead since he retired. Complete disrespect for the city that treated him so well for so long.
Yeah, and I mean, whether he wants to be remembered as a Chief or a Falcon or whatever, he's a Chief. Like, that's how I remember him. I'm sure that's how a lot of people here also remember him.
That's where he got most of his stats.
Yeah, I mean, that's where he spent the majority of his career. That's where he was for the prime of his career. So that's who you are. He may not like that, but that's definitely who he is. So he'll have to live with that.
I certainly didn't love it. He kind of backtracked and said, oh, well, that's not what I meant by it. But the tweet was a little odd. And Falcons fans, I mean, they can pretend like that. But what if, Falcons fans, their soccer team gets more of a crowd than they do. So let's pump the brakes on the winning culture of the Falcons. Chiefs haven't been to many Super Bowls, but they've never blown a 25-point lead in the Super Bowl. They have blown a 28-point lead in the playoffs, but that's beside the point. Not in the Super Bowl. But Tony Gonzalez, he is in the Hall, and he certainly deserves it. Some fun highlights as a Chiefs, but some weird comments there.
Yeah.
So we're going to come back, break down everything that happened in Gallagher, and what the Cowgirls were able to do down in Fort Worth this weekend. And if we have time, we'll go over some prop bet results from this weekend. We'll be right back after this.
One-on-One is brought to you by Oklahoma Air National Guard. Contact Oklahoma Air National Guard at 800-GO-TO-ANG or visit their website at goang.com/OK for more information about how to get 100% college tuition. And Unitarian Universalist Church. If you're looking for a church home, visit Unitarian Universalist Church of Stillwater, located at 320 South Stallard Street. They offer an alternative spiritual path and welcome all races, religions, and beliefs. They are also LGBTQ friendly. Services every Sunday at 10:30. We'll be right back.
Stillwater Medical Center now offers a convenient way to view your health information online. It's secure, easy, and free. Our hospital and clinic patient portals allow you to view results and reports, medications and allergies, track visit histories, view upcoming appointment information, and see your statements. To enroll, go to stillwatermedical.com and click on the patient portal link near the top right of the page. If you have questions, please feel free to call 405-533-6010.
Welcome back into One-on-One on Suddenlink Channel 112, live for Studio 318. Logan, the Cowboys lost another Big 12 game on Saturday. A 75-57 loss to the Kansas State Wildcats. We talked about how good Kansas State was on Friday, a game that we probably expected. But Curtis Jones, off the bench, leads the team with 14 points. The minutes seem to be a problem. They were 2-9 from the line. They shot 40% from the floor. I mean, everything that could have gone wrong for the Cowboys went wrong.
Yeah, only 2 threes in the whole game. That's abysmal. I think Lindy Waters 0 for 1. I'm looking at free throws. 11 for 20 from the three-point line. 2 of 9 from the free throw line. That's terrible. And we talked about in South Carolina how well they got to the line. And I think we said this is not the norm. They will not be able to replicate this kind of performance. And sure enough, they weren't. Like you said, Curtis Jones led all of our scores with 14. Lindy Waters had 12. Desagua 9. Cameron Griff 8. Yorane 9. For a while, Yorane was our leading scorer up until the end of the game. It was rough. I was in Gallagher for this one. Ryan Peters was there, our camera guy, and
well, quit going if you guys show up. That's going to be the case. Just stop going.
Barrett was also there. Maybe it is Ryan and I, because when Ryan and I left, we were down 30.
Yeah, everyone else should go, but you two need to stop.
We'll just watch on TV from now on. But it was Kansas State had a great defense. Obviously, we knew that going into the game, and they had such a deep bench. They played so many guys, especially obviously at the end they played a lot of guys in garbage time, but they just had so many guys they could play, and Oklahoma State just couldn't keep up with them.
Yeah, I mean, Duncan DeMuth and Luke Majors get 5 combined minutes.
That's probably good.
Curtis Jones get a decent amount of time, obviously leads the team, but I mean, the minutes are starting to become a problem like everyone thought they would. But I mean, the minutes are a problem, but shooting 40% in field goal percentage opposed to 53 at Kansas State. They shoot 16 of 29. You're only 11 of 20. I mean, it's just not good numbers across the board. And you mentioned 2 of 9 from the line. That's almost embarrassingly bad.
That's worse than a high school team. That's worse than a lot of high school teams, and that's embarrassing. Obviously, your best free throw shooters weren't consistently getting to the line. Yorane had 4. You don't want to send him to the line. He made 1 of 4. But, I mean, McGriff, Lindy Waters, and Desagua combined to shoot 2 free throws.
That's not good.
That's not good. McGriff and Lindy both went 0 for 1. Isaac Likely went 0 for 1, and Curtis Jones went 1 for 2. So I think some of those were bad breaks, but Yoranae's not a good free throw shooter, so I think that's kind of where that stat comes from. And just the fact that the offense doesn't seem to create opportunities to get to the free throw line is a big problem. There isn't a lot of movement out there. A lot of guys are just kind of standing around watching the rest of the team. And I can understand that because they're probably so tired from having to play 35, 37 minutes. So Mike Boynton definitely has an interesting challenge on his hands for the rest of the season.
Down in Fort Worth on Wednesday night. We will obviously break down that Wednesday, but a quick turnaround, and then at Kansas this weekend.
I don't think it's going to be like last year.
Their next 3 stretches at TCU, at Kansas, then Texas Tech.
That's rough.
It is going to be a rough stretch here for the Cowboys. The Cowgirls are reeling. They lost their 4th straight down, 4th game overall in a row as they fell to TCU on Saturday. Not a good game. 69-55 loss for the Cowgirls.
Yeah.
I mean, they're really hurting. Can they bounce back? Do you think this is – I mean, obviously you would hope that they would be able to win this week because the Sooners are not very good. You would hope that they would be able to bounce back. But do you think that in the last 4 games they probably played their way out of an NCAA tournament?
It kind of looks that way. You look at the schedule. They've got quite a few games left. If they can maybe win a game against beat one of these ranked teams that they've got coming up. Texas is number 12. Obviously, they play Baylor again. I'm not saying they're going to win that game. That'd be a tough ask. Iowa State is number 23. So if you can take down one of those ranked opponents, I think you can get yourself an at-large bid. But 4 straight losses does not look good, and they seem to be trending in the wrong direction. They really started quite well, but I think their lack of experience has kind of bit them in the butt a little bit, and it might keep them out of the tournament. I thought they were going to be a pretty good team the way they were playing, but I think maybe they were just playing above expectations, and they're kind of coming back down to earth now.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think this has been a tough stretch for the Cowgirls, but hopefully they can find their way back. The Cowboys now are 9-12 overall, so not
2-6 in the Big 12.
Yeah, not a good time for Oklahoma State basketball right now. Yeah. But they both play. Obviously, the Cowgirls take on the Sooners this week, and as we mentioned, OSU or the Cowboys travel down to Fort Worth to take on the Horned Frogs on Wednesday. So we'll break all that down on Wednesday's show. But on Friday, Logan, we made quite a few prop bets.
We did.
And some of them I didn't write down, and I'll have to go back and see who won those. But you were far and away better at this than I was. What will the coin toss be? You said tails never fails. You were right.
Yep.
We both said the Patriots would win the coin toss. We were wrong. Will the team that wins the coin toss win the game? We both said yes.
And
wrong. Because the Rams did. And we both said the Patriots would win, and we thought they would win the game. But how many songs will be played at halftime? Over-under was 7.5. You took the over. You won. I took the under and lost. What will the first song be performed? We both missed on
both
that.
Got that one wrong.
Will Maroon 5 play a SpongeBob tribute? Yes, not much of one, but we both got that one right. And then we did a bunch of cross-sports bets that we didn't write down because there was too many of them.
Yeah.
I will try and go back and figure out what those were. But my favorite one, what will the Gatorade color be? It was blue.
Big win for you. Yeah, I liked your logic. Both teams have blue. Got to use blue Gatorade. It was sound logic. I wish I had thought of it myself.
It was, I guess, a logic, and it worked for me. I'm probably not that intelligent considering I stole it off Twitter. So you said, that's brilliant. So I went with it. You said yellow, obviously. It was blue. But you dominated this. Neither one of us were very good, but you were much better at it than I was. So if we had any money, you would be getting it now. But we don't have any money. We didn't bet any money. But this game, summed up, was not a good Super Bowl. The halftime show on a scale of 5 stars. How many stars are you giving Maroon 5 in this halftime show?
I'll give them. Ryan said negative stars. I kind of like that idea. I cannot give him 3. Anissa's saying 3. I want to give him a 1.5 just for showing up. They showed up, so they at least get some credit.
No political statements, nothing. But I thought the performances were not good. I could not get a microphone and do any better, but that's not the point. It was simply not a good halftime show.
No.
The game was not good. Now, break down the commercials.
I thought the commercials were also disturbing. Did you see the Robo Baby TurboTax commercial?
Yeah.
I would rather get audited by the IRS than
You're gonna
use
regret
TurboTax.
That. The FBI agent in your camera
I will never use TurboTax. They have forever lost my business whatsoever. I would rather the IRS show up at my door and be like, you're going to jail. And I would be like, dang, I could have used TurboTax, but that Robo Baby was scary, so no.
The best commercial was the league themselves.
I agree.
The Player 100. I mean, that was the best commercial. Had every star, present, past. I mean, that was a phenomenal commercial. But anything, there was nothing else.
No.
I mean, the Budweiser commercials that you look for, whether they're going to be funny or pull at your heartstrings, there was nothing. I mean, last night was an epic failure for the league. Now, am I going to, next year, no matter what teams are playing, am I going to be like, last year was a bad product, I'm not going to do it again? No. People are still going to show up to parties next year, but this was not a good product for the National Football League. The people that were putting up commercials failed. The teams failed to put on a good show. Patriots fans probably don't care, but it was not a good game. The halftime show was not a good performance. It was just not a good night for the NFL.
No, yeah, I completely agree. I'm trying to find a bright spot. There's not
the
really.
punting. The punting was good.
Everyone special teams looked great. Special teams
punting.
is the future.
I mean, they missed 2 field goals. So
That's
it was
true.
just, it was, you can't even go as far as all special teams. It was simply
just the punting.
Just the punting.
What a year. What a year. Year of the punter. It's not year of the pig. It's year of the punter.
All right, well, we'll review this in 363 days when Super Bowl 54 takes place. The Chiefs are 6-1 odds, followed by the Rams and Pats at 8-1. Who's your Super Bowl champion next year?
I would have to it all depends on the draft and the offseason for me. I like the Chiefs, but if the Patriots stay the way they are, I can't pick against them. Obviously, they just won. And it depends on what the Rams bring back.
The Rams, Patriots, and Saints are 8-1, followed by the Steelers, Chargers, and Bears at 14-1. The Browns are 20-1 odds, so they're up there. The Dolphins are 300-1. So
give me the Dolphins. I'll put $1 on the Dolphins.
I mean,
why not?
Why not? Probably not going to win anything, but 6-1 odds for the Chiefs. I guess they'll win. Probably I'm not lucky enough to get that. But we'll see you on Wednesday. Break down everything going on in the NBA, some NFL news, and obviously Oklahoma State basketball. We'll see you on Wednesday. Thanks for watching One on One.
Determining your future by selecting a major can be difficult.
It's okay to be undecided.
Connect with the College of Arts and Sciences, where your options are endless.
Where you can uncover your passions and achieve your goals.
Express your creativity by exploring a career in the visual and performing arts.
Investigate new discoveries to make the world a better place with a career in science.
Advance knowledge, communicate progress, and contribute to a healthier planet with a career rooted in the social sciences.
Discover your career by looking at the world from different perspectives through the humanities.
Realize a better tomorrow through problem solving and mining data that can change lives.
Cast prepares you to succeed through internships, study abroad, student-guided research projects, and service activities.
With 109 majors, 52 minors, and 24 departments, the only thing missing is you. College of Arts and Sciences.
Connect.
Achieve. Succeed.
When you have a team of physicians and nurses that really truly care about their patients, that translates into patient care.
It's a small practice, it's a small town. Everybody really takes that time to put the patient first.
Everybody cares what's happening to me and that I'm making progress and I'm gaining my freedom back and my mobility back. This patient is saying thank you.
This spring, I invite you to shop in downtown Stillwater. Downtown Stillwater is home to locally owned shops, boutiques, eateries, and dependable professionals that you can trust. Find the perfect gift for your graduate, have a delicious meal with mom, or just stop in to enjoy great spring savings. By creating a demand for local goods and services, you can ensure a place for the local businesses that help give our community character and keep it unique. On behalf of downtown Stillwater, thank you for shopping local.